Alright, we just watched the penultimate episode of Loki. Are y'all ready to engage in some witty discourse about said episode?
Yes.
Then let us get the conversation started. Hello and welcome to LexiCon. It is Maddie.
Lexi.
Dylan.
And as always, spoilers.
Spoilers!
For episode 5 in the entire series thus far of Loki.
Yes. Spoilers for episode 6 too, with time traveling.
And spoilers for your life if you're wasting it listening to us talk.
Oh gosh.
And spoilers for your milk that you left out of the fridge.
Yeah, when you
Don't do it that way now.
Somebody, it would be hilarious if somebody actually did and they were listening and they're like, exactly. Oh my gosh. Anyway.
Y'all could have talked while I was doing that bit.
Nobody had anything to say, so we had to let
Now I'm gonna have to
we had to let the bit happen.
Look, sometimes bits just happen.
Exactly.
Especially if there's 8 of them.
You know what else happened?
What?
Loki episode 5.
And if you have 2 of them, you can get a shave and a haircut.
Nice.
2 Lokis, not bits. You want to shave, you want to get a haircut. Just move on. This episode was fantastic. This might be my favorite episode of all
It was great.
the Disney Plus Marvel series so far. It's the first.
Yes.
It's the first one that I've really enjoyed, just for itself, and also set me up to really look forward to the next week. But not in a that was disappointing. I hope they make up for it next week. And I'm excited for next week. But this one was really good in and of itself too.
I hesitated because obviously this isn't Falcon and Winter Soldier, but yes, I think I have to agree on it being the best of all of them.
I'm not saying again. I'm not saying this. I'm not ready to say it's my favorite of the series. I'm saying this individual episode is my favorite episode of all the episodes we've seen from the 3 episodic series on Disney Plus representing the Marvel Universe.
Yes, I'm
So
really
far,
shaking
this
after
is
that
my
episode.
favorite
What?
So far, this is definitely my favorite series.
I do wonder how this is going to continue on into a second season.
Same.
It leaves me feeling there's a lot of revelations that aren't going to be revealed in the revealing final episode.
I'm very concerned
Season
for that,
finale.
honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, it is confirmed that they're doing multiple seasons, right? Or is that just conjecture?
I'm not sure. I thought it was pretty
I
much
heard that was confirmed that they were into pre-production.
Exactly.
Maybe it's
So
a
that will
Loki
be interesting.
movie.
And I'm still waiting to see how this ties into the larger MCU
Very
as
much.
well. I don't know how much. I don't think Black Widow is going to reveal anything unless there happens to be an end credit scene.
Yeah.
You know, Shang-Chi might show us a little bit. Eternals, I feel like, is going to definitely give us some more.
Definitely.
And then, of course, I don't know. Because I don't know how it's going to tie. Really, of everything, Doctor Strange and the new Ant-Man movie are the ones that seem the most likely to tie in because of the
And Spider-Man.
Yeah, but not quite as much as the other two, I say.
Well, we don't even know but we don't know anything. A lot of them could. We just know that
Very
Spider-Man's going to show up in Doctor Strange, but that doesn't mean it has anything to do with the Spider-Man. I know because of all the villains and past actors who might be coming back for Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's definitely possible. And we're dealing with 2 separate concepts in multiverse and time travel, but they do sort of intersect as well.
Very much.
Very much so in the MCU, especially.
Very much.
But again, it does seem like Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness and Ant-Man Quantumania with the presence of Kang seem like the most likely to tie into this in a large way. But obviously, the MCU movies and their storylines and characters are all interwoven, so it's going to have some ramifications with the others. But then again, it also depends on where they take place on the timeline, too, because obviously Black Widow's a prequel.
Yeah.
And we don't even know Shang-Chi, the Eternals, we don't know exactly where they're going to drop into the timeline.
Exactly.
We assume everything's pretty much going forward from the blip, but who knows?
Exactly. I'm trying to figure out what to say next.
Speaking of,
so much
just
happened.
really quickly, speaking of the blip, well, of course, see, that's the thing is that I'm just trying to get a timeline, narrowing the time frame of this show, because it's technically happened, well, it happened after the blip, of course, but it happened during their time heist.
Yes.
So if you look at time just being another dimension, or time as a continuum, it's all happening simultaneously, but especially the idea of just time being another dimension, this happened in the middle of the time heist and before they actually fought Thanos. Then again, he goes to TVA, and time works differently there. And so I'm trying to figure out exactly where we are, and that's the thing.
We're probably like right after Endgame.
Is where's it going to lead at the end game of this series, or at least this season? Where are they going to be?
Technically, the
on
Loki
the timeline
comes
and in the multiverse.
right after Avengers, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Right, but it's also at the same time as the time.
I know, but I'm just saying.
Again, if we're assuming time is just another dimension, it's happening at the same time as the time heist on a grand scale.
Yeah, it's hard to figure out.
But that again, they cover that with saying that time works differently here at the TVA.
Exactly.
Or does it? Da-da-da.
We got a little bit more TVA in this episode.
Yeah, a bit more.
Renslayer is definitely turning out to be more of a villain or villainous.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Which plays into her being, Kang's mistress or assistant or whatever she is in the comics.
I think she's hiding something.
Maybe.
She doesn't seem to completely know everything. She just seems to still buy into the TVA.
I agree. It also seems like maybe she does know.
It seems like she's being honest when she says she doesn't know who created or what's going on.
See, I agree, but I also get the vibe that she knows a little something and she is trying to protect something more, You
may be right.
So I'm confused. I'm waiting to see what we see of her next time.
I don't feel like she's trying to protect it, but I don't think she knows who's at the top.
But she could if Kang's at the top.
Yeah.
She is his lover. Ooh, was she cheating on Kang with Mobius?
Oh gosh.
Love triangle, Kang, Ramona. No, it's Ravonna, right? It's with a V, right?
Something like that.
I think it's Ravonna Renslayer.
Nice. I'm just saying I
may have that completely wrong. I
just
apologize if I do. But.
Speaking of Mobius,
So we got a little bit of the TVA. We did see Mobius, but back at the TVA, we got to see B-15. She's locked up.
Yeah.
Sort of in this weird time case. It looks sort of like the jail cells from the Lego Space Police sets that I used to love when I was a kid.
TVA, Space Police, Time Police, all of the above.
But
I'm pretty sure
but she's still functional. She's not brainwashed or mind wiped or anything.
At least not yet.
Yeah.
And that was she had the conversation with Renslayer when she was like the timekeepers aren't real. It's a fraud, and that's when Ravonna was like. So does that change anything? That's where I got the impression that Renslayer doesn't really know what's going on.
Yeah.
That, and the fact that she's trying to get Miss Minutes to bring up all the files she can so she can research into it.
Yeah.
But you may be right. It may be part of her game and she just needs the files to... Because she knows enough. She knows who's behind it or whatever, but she doesn't know how to protect them or do what she can beyond the parameters of the TVA. Now that things have sort of broken down, she needs more information to be able to perform what she sees as her duties.
Yeah, maybe she wants to destroy the files. Is that possible?
I think it would have been easier to just be like, Miss Minutes, destroy the files.
Probably, but we don't know yet.
Yeah.
But this actually came after Sylvie wound up pruning herself.
Yes.
After it briefly looked like she and Renslayer were going to team up.
Yeah, it definitely did look like that, and I was just sitting like, oh no. But then it didn't happen.
Been interesting. How many times is this in this series that we thought it was going to be one thing and we've gotten something completely different?
Every episode.
I feel like this, even more so than WandaVision and Falcon and Winter Soldier, which, we had speculation on what they were going to be, and some of it was right, some of it was wrong, but they pretty much followed along the path you thought. This, we thought, it's going to be Loki, agent of the TVA, and and Wilson will be going off on adventures together, and it's just going to go on for seasons, it's going to interweave it. Nope, it is not that at all.
It's very fitting though, considering the fact that...
It started out making it look like it was going to be, and they just blew that up, and it is, a much different, much bigger story than that.
It's very fitting, considering that Loki's the god of mischief.
Which, again, I could say, just like I thought with WandaVision, I'd have watched season after season of just the sitcom. They could have literally gone like 3 seasons of just the sitcom or sitcoms before I started to question what was going on outside. So they could have done a few years of Loki as the, especially if they're going to do multiple seasons.
Yeah.
They could have done a few years or a season or 2 of Loki as agent of the TVA before it starts to break down, but they tore that shit down quickly.
Yeah.
Which again makes me feel like, how does this continue on?
This series really gets to the point.
But at the same time, I feel like that also goes back to how it has to tie into the larger MCU. They need to get to a certain point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, we know Kang's coming up in Ant-Man. We know Secret Wars are coming up.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's a lot of things to tie in.
A lot of multiverse stuff.
There's a lot.
But speaking of a lot of things, there are a lot of Lokis.
Yeah, meanwhile, we found out exactly where Loki and the Lokis are.
Yes.
It's
Renslayer
claimed it was the end of time, but Sylvie theorized that it's not truly the end of time. It's just a void on the way there.
Yeah.
So it's not an alternate timeline. It's just like a way station for pruned timelines and individuals, and that's why you see Wreckage of New York. That's why you see the battleship. The alien saucer and whatnot. And of course, it figured that Mobius would eventually show up, and of course he did.
Yes.
And the Thanos copter was there.
Oh, the Thanos copter, that was amazing. And Frog Thor and the
Yes.
Earth.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there were other Easter eggs that we didn't pick up on.
So Mjolnir.
Of course, Polybius was there. We saw that in the trailer.
Yeah, we knew that from the trailer. Oh, and I'm pretty sure that Kid Loki was drinking Ecto Cooler.
Yes, the best high C ever.
Which you've never really had.
Eh.
I don't think the remake of it was as good as the original.
That's pretty
Maybe that's just, nostalgia, taste buds, but I remember it being better than it was when they re-released it.
It's pretty damn good.
I know nothing about it, but I love that they all had like the goblets or whatever, and he's up on a throne or something with a juice box.
And then they poured wine in the gator's mouth.
Yeah.
That was amazing. I have to say, too, I never knew I needed a gator version of Loki jumping up and trying to attack another version of Loki until I got it.
I love that.
Yeah.
He just jumps up and then the hand's gone.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah,
Rewind,
the other,
rewind, when he was going after Boastful Loki.
But then
it seemed like a
on.
thing between them, like, bite me, I'm going to choke you. And it's like, and the other two Lokis were like, we've seen this before.
Yeah.
Which set it up like, it's just a playful thing between them. And then when Loki 2016 shows up, after Boastful Loki had betrayed Kid Loki and Old Loki.
Yeah.
And I guess all those other guys were Loki variants too.
Yep.
None of them looked like it, right?
True.
Most likely.
But then it just jumped on that look. I'm like, oh yeah, get him. And then just bit his
Takes the
fucking hand off.
and his scream.
That's when the episode just went really batshit crazy. And I
loved it.
Loved it for it. Yeah, absolutely.
I
do.
Yeah.
I just want to say this. Should we be bothered by the fact that the one Loki that turned on the main triumvirate of Lokis was the Black Loki?
That did cross my mind.
I know in a perfect world it doesn't matter. Black guy can be the villain, white guy can be the villain, Asian man can be the villain, etc., etc. That's fine, and it's no big deal. But this isn't a perfect world, and you do question a little bit their choice of taking the one Black Loki of the main group. And I know there was at least one more Black Loki in the Marauders. And I mean, to be fair, normal-looking white 2016 Loki was clearly a villain, and all those other guys were basically villainous Lokis. But I'm just saying, you establish these main three. Hey, these are the Loki variants we're going to focus on. And let's make the Black guy the turncoat. But I don't want to. I don't want to bring up something that's not really there. Maybe I'm just seeing things. It did cross my mind, like, should we be concerned about this? I mean, I'd like to think it doesn't really mean anything, but part of me knows it could, and I'm just like, it makes me a little uncomfortable.
Yeah. It kind of crossed my mind.
But at the same time, obviously
to...
Loki is a villain. More often than not, when we see Loki, he's a villain.
Yeah.
More versions than not of Loki are villains. So
yes.
Loki's whole thing is
definitely within his character.
Very much.
And
literally everyone in that room betrayed someone at some point.
Holy crap! Speaking of Loki, now that's fair too. I mean, you're right. Betrayal is sort of a calling card of Loki, and every one of the Lokis, except maybe Sylvie. Has she betrayed anybody?
Probably.
Maybe.
But I'm just saying, because he turned on the one Loki, that Loki tried to change on him or something, and then like everyone else turned on him.
And I wonder too, old Loki, he followed the main Loki timeline up through
death.
But he lived beyond that.
Yeah.
He even said how but that's the point. He wasn't a variant in that he lived a different path. He lived the exact same path as our main Loki up until the point that Thanos boarded the ship and he found a way to escape from it.
Yeah.
But he had that weird costume. So for his whole life, that Loki had that costume. That even that made him a variant, not following the main
planet.
The costume doesn't matter.
It's possible. You're right. He could have just changed. He could have been like, "Nah, I'm loner Loki. I'm lonerky."
And he has some freaking strong
That sounds like
magic
anarchy mixed with Loki.
Facts.
I mean,
I declare monarchy.
But his magic, we literally see him pretty much make a pull like the Space Stone.
And I'm just saying, Loki is fucking powerful.
Facts.
I don't know how powerful he is in the comics. I'm not a regular reader. And in the MCU, we've seen flashes of power from him, but he's not over. I mean, look, let's be fair. He was the first big bad that the Avengers had to deal with.
Yes.
I mean, he had the army of the Chitauri, but I mean, he was still pretty powerful on his own. But they have really upped his power. With this series. We're seeing things from Loki like, damn.
Yeah.
Which pretends well if he's going to stick around in the MCU, he could be really fun.
True. Yes. You talking about him making the portal? He practically rebuilt Asgard.
An illusion of it.
Yeah, it was of course an illusion.
That was amazing when he needed to give them a distraction so that Loki and Sylvie could enchant this. What were they called? Elia?
Yeah, Elia.
Because I know it's sort of like Elijah or Elias.
Yeah, something like that.
It's this spectral cloud dog thing that eats up, literally consumes the matter that's dropped into the the void at the end of time.
But it's so amazing, him creating the illusion and whatnot, and I love the look, the artwork, the style, that sort of stuff. It gave me really nice vibes.
I do wonder too, and you knew you knew the dog was probably going to get him in the end, and I'm also like, y'all couldn't enchant him just a couple minutes earlier and save old Loki.
Like, no, it was coming to the end, and I'm like, oh my gosh, there's 2 ways it could go. It could come and get him. If they could do it, like, just in time.
And they did do it, just not quite in time.
Yeah.
And now Kid Loki's just all by himself.
Yeah, I'm just waiting.
Gator.
Yeah, he took the
I do
Gator.
wonder where he went, and obviously he could factor into series or movies later on.
Yeah, I think he's gonna show up more.
You don't have to like
find
cough
a way
it. I'm not trying to hide it or not say it, but I don't know what their plans
get out
are.
and stuff like that. I mean, if they take down the TVA, then that'll give him multiple ways of going on about his life. I do love.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, I do love how every time something happened, he grabs the gator. Like when the 2016 Loki, when everything broke out, he just picked up the gator and was leaving.
I love the scene too when they're getting ready to enact their plan, and Loki and Sylvie are having their moment, which we can get into in a minute if I want to. But old Loki and Gator Loki and Kid Loki and Mobius are like sitting around the fire together, and Mobius is like, "How do you know there's even a Loki variant?"
Yeah.
Like, could you get along, Connie? Could you still be working it? Which would make him even more of a Loki.
Yeah.
It's always a lie with you guys. You're always working it, which I respect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
I
was
love
fun.
Mobius.
And there's no explanation for the Loki Gator. It just is.
No. Yeah. It's
I mean,
just there.
I assume
We don't
maybe
acknowledge
it turned. I don't know. Maybe it goes into the one where he turned Thor into a frog. Maybe he actually turned himself into a gator or something, or somebody else did.
It probably comes from
Especially since we saw
timeline.
Frog Thor just buried in a jar in the ground trying to reach Mjolnir.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
Kind of sad when you think about it.
How's he still alive in that jar?
jar?
How long has he been there?
We don't know.
Well, he is a god. We did establish that Thor could survive in the vacuum of space, so he might not need any sort of atmosphere to breathe.
No.
Has he been there for like 1,000 years?
We don't know.
Time works differently at the TVA.
No, speaking of Mobius and whatnot, there's a scene they're getting ready to do their plan and whatnot. Kid Loki and the other Loki, they're leaving. And Sylvie...
You're jumping ahead. We didn't even talk about the Sylvie Loki moment that I just referenced, but it's fine.
But then Sylvie and normal Loki, they've decided that they're gonna go try to enchant it together. And Mobius is heading back to the TVA. And him and Loki share a hug. And it was really sweet.
Yeah, that
I
was
really
sweet.
loved it.
You're the best moment.
But like Mobius has to come back.
This was,
finale,
I mean,
like.
there's trailer footage of him back at the TVA
Okay.
that we should see. I mean, that's where he's going. So
Yeah, I mean it's part of taking down the TVA.
He and Ravonna
so.
are gonna have it out.
Okay.
I mean, that's not in the trailer, but I'm saying that's the logical conclusion.
Oh,
But
yeah.
I do worry about Mobius going back all by himself. I mean,
Same.
I'm sure he can free B-15 and maybe he can unenchant some other members of the
Possibly.
TVA.
I mean, what are they gonna do?
He'll round up a posse.
As long as he can keep a hold of the thing, he'll be fine.
Yeah, he's
I mean,
got
as
the
long
time
as
pad that
Yeah.
Sylvie stole.
As long as you don't hit him with the sharp end of the stick.
True.
You gotta watch out for the pointy end. The pointy end's dangerous.
Yeah.
The pruning, that dangerous animal.
True.
But going back, Loki and Sylvie had a moment together where they shared a blanket that Loki
Yeah.
conjured. There was a weird moment. She's like, you could conjure me another outfit. This thing's really uncomfortable, and he didn't conjure an outfit. I almost wondered, would you like to put me in something more comfortable? Like she was almost coming on to him because they had a little bit of
my
awkward
gosh.
flirting there, and
They kinda did.
I thought a couple times this episode they were gonna kiss or really have a moment, especially right before they tried to enchant Elia. Am I
Yeah.
saying the name right? I feel like
Either Elia or Eliath. I can't remember.
Eliath. That's it.
Okay.
Kind of like Elias and Goliath.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
gonna call him Chalk.
The dog.
But
The storm. That's what it is. Remember?
Fortnite.
This episode is just in Fortnite. We saw Thor playing. We see Loki in it.
it's the nothing from Neverending Story 2.
Nice.
But anyway, I thought they looked at each other and I thought they were gonna kiss because they needed to make a distraction. I thought they were gonna kiss to make the distraction, especially when she kind of gave him a slight nod and he gave her like a big nod.
Yeah.
But then he just ran off and lit up Kid Loki's flame sword.
Yeah. Which is awesome.
Yeah.
I like the moment where Kid Loki gives him the sword and Loki just enchants a sheath for him.
Yeah.
He should have.
I thought he was gonna go full
At first it looked like,
thing.
okay, put on suspenders. Oh no, okay, sword.
I thought he was gonna go full outfit, but no,
Yeah.
he's just like, I'll just stop it to my back.
He's cool. He looks like Office Worker Loki.
I'm cool with it.
And he's got like torn sleeves.
Yeah, I'm cool with it.
But this
though.
episode was great. It was batshit crazy. It had
Fantastic.
thrilling moments. It had emotional moments.
Yes.
I thought it was really good. Like I say, it's my favorite episode of any of the Disney Plus series thus far.
Yes.
And the Easter eggs were great. I just wish when Mobius had come driving up in the car that he came driving up in a pizza car.
Yes.
So it could have been Pizza Planet. That would have been, but even better would have been if he came up driving in a car that looked like Lightning McQueen.
Of
Like Lightning
course.
McQueen. And even better would have been a computer animated Lightning McQueen drives up there and like, Hey, how you doing?
Yeah.
Mobius? And then he pops his head out. No, I'm here. This is a Mobius variant, though.
Wait, he'd be inside of a Mobius van.
Well, Lightning McQueen's a car.
I know, but when you think of the car, you don't think of people being in them.
I know can that the brains are, but like behind the eyes.
I know the cars in cars don't have passengers, but they have a passenger area. Somebody could.
Yeah.
If there were people around them, they could ride inside of them.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I think I would totally look and whatnot.
Like I said, I'm pretty sure it's been confirmed that their brains are pretty much right behind their eyes.
Their eyes are like where their headlights. Oh no, they're on their windshield.
Yeah.
Yes.
But still would have been cool.
I don't know.
He could have been in a car painted to be like.
No, we haven't physically seen it.
But I'm saying, I know we haven't seen the brain, but I'm saying, are all their windows tinted? Have they not shown any interior shots?
No, we haven't seen inside.
So you've gone back and rewatched every frame of fucking cars, right?
I thought Mater didn't have windows. Or something.
Mater doesn't have a brain either. So. But I think confirmed. Like the Cars universe is just an MCU.
Oh, definitely.
Part of the MCU multiverse.
At this point.
And that's a Mobius variant, or Mobius is Lightning McQueen variant, however you want to look at it. Okay,
Mater does have windows, and they're kind of like clouded and whatnot.
Yeah, you can't see through them.
Yeah, so you can't see through them at all.
Okay, well, it's still... Okay, I'm going overboard saying it should have been an actual CGI car and talking... But, I mean, you could have... There are real-life cars that look like Lightning McQueen.
Exactly.
And you could do a Lightning McQueen paint job on it, and it could be in there, and he could have driven other than that. And, I mean, I guess there's licensing issues. Pixar and Disney have a partnership, but I don't know how easy it is just to throw it in there.
Doesn't Disney own Pixar?
I think they own, like, part of them.
Oh.
I don't know how... But all I'm saying is I don't... Still, even if it's still another company, just because the parent company owns it, doesn't mean they can just take whatever they want from it and use it however they want. So I understand that maybe that would be more complicated, but if you could do it, that would have been amazing. And it wouldn't have taken me out of it at all, because this is where all these different variant universes come in. I mean, there's an alligator Loki, for crying out loud.
There's not a variant of Mobius that's Lightning McQueen, because Lightning McQueen was meant to happen.
You know, Polybius is there. I'm just saying, it would have been cool to have that car drive.
Yes.
Or like I say, if he's going to do a pizza car, let's make a Pizza Planet and have
Pizza
tie in.
That's why part of me wonders if maybe one of the comics or in the background of a comic or something that pizza car existed.
I heard Pixar's not happy with Disney for putting a lot of their stuff on Disney Plus.
Interesting.
I guess instead of putting it in theaters, or putting it in both at the same time.
Interesting.
Apparently Kevin Feige's been whining about Black Widow on Disney Plus too, because Kevin Feige doesn't give a fuck about the fans. He wants to make it as hard as possible for them to see his product.
I'm curious to see how much more Disney does that, because, like you said, Kevin Feige's complaining, apparently Pixar's complaining, but I also know that fans have had complaints about the whole permanent access thing.
Because they have to pay for it.
Yeah.
But there are apparently some film producers, directors, etc. have complained about HBO Max showing movies at in theaters, even though it's only for 30 days, but you don't pay extra for that.
Yeah.
So that's not Kevin Feige's complaint. It's not the same as theirs, because obviously Disney's still making money off of it. The company's still making money, so I just think he wants to control how the Marvel movies roll out, and I just think he kind of likes to be obtuse and doesn't really want to be very fan friendly.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think he's seriously like, I don't want to put it on there because it'll piss off the fans, but I don't think he even takes the time to think about what benefits the fans the most. Which, I mean, I get it. He's a businessman. He's running his business, but fan service does matter, and if you don't have an audience, you don't have a product. You have a product, but nobody's going to pay for it, so you're not going to keep making it. But
you don't have a business.
I'm getting off on a tangent here. Loki episode 5.
Amazing.
Awesome. 2 thumbs up.
It was glorious.
2 horns up.
It's glorious.
I can't wait till we see Kevin Feige as the final boss.
I've heard people joke about that being the thing. At the end, we don't get Kang timekeepers or anything else. We get the writing room at Marvel.
I mean, that's what it should be.
And this is how the MCU sets up to break the fourth wall.
But that can't be the.
No,
I wouldn't do it.
It'd be funny, but it can't.
She just said it breaks the fourth wall. It's Deadpool.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Find Deadpool, and that's how they introduced Deadpool in the MCU.
They're like, oh hey, I've been writing all this.
Alright. Anybody got anything else they need to add?
No.
I think that was everything.
Alright, cool. Well, come back right here next week when we'll have our review of the finale. And make sure
I'm both excited and not excited.
Check out the main podcast feed. It drops every Sunday. We should have the Black Widow review up this Sunday, unless we get behind for some reason and don't get a chance to record it, but we'll have an episode one way or the other, and we'll have it in 2 weeks at the most.
Yes.
And until next time when the conversation does continue, I will continue to be Maddie.
Lexi.
Dylan.
And this is LexiCon concluded.
Bye.
Wow.
Still haven't gotten him doing that yet.
I don't think we will.